condolences to the family, Bank of Uganda, as well as the entire Uganda, and also noted that the late would be celebrating his 73rd birthday on the 27th of January. But however, this would be the day Parliament will be eulogizing the late governor.
Continue to convey our condolences to members of the family, his wife Betty, the siblings and the family of the MUTEBILE'S. We also convey condolences to Bank of Uganda, where he has been the governor and he has done very well as a governor of Bank of Uganda. And condolences to Ugandans and the international community, because Professor MUTEBILE was not only impacting on Uganda, but he was an international icon. And we have lost a very great public servant, very distinguished. He gave all his life to the service of humanity, and we greatly thank God for the life that he gave Professor MUTEBILE, who should be celebrating his 73rd birthday tomorrow as we eulogize him in the Parliament of Uganda.
Barrio Musi revealed that the body of the deceased was officially received on the 25th of January around 7 p.m. and that there will be a funeral service at the Independence Ground on the 28th, and it will be a scientific one following the standard operating procedures with only 300 mourners.
We are going to have a funeral service which shall be held in the Kororo Independence Grounds, and it's going to be a scientific service where we are restricting the mourners up to 300 mourners because of the reasons which we all appreciate, that we are still in a situation of trying to manage COVID-19, and therefore we shall have representation from the family, from government, from friends in the church service at Kororo, and all those who are going to participate are undergoing COVID testing so that we comply with the requirements of having public health measures and SOPs.
It was revealed that Sunday will be the day when the late governor of Uganda will be laid to rest at his home in Chiyuguta, Kabale municipality.
Sunday shall be the day for burial. We shall start with the church service, the funeral service in Rugarama Church of Uganda Cathedral, starting at midday, and thereafter we shall lay him to rest at his home in the Chijuguta Kabale municipality Sunday. So that is the outline of the program from today up to the time when we shall lay him.
MUTEBILE was admitted to Nairobi Hospital after he collapsed due to complications related to diabetes. He had been in and out of hospital in recent years for the same complications. Professor Emmanuel Tumusime MUTEBILE, a seasoned professional economist, has served as governor and chairman of the board of directors of the Bank of Uganda since 2001 and had just started a new term of office for which he was reappointed by 2021. He served as a secretary to the Treasury from 1992 to 2001 when he was appointed governor. He is remembered for spearheading the design and implementation of the economic reform program that restored Uganda from the economic crisis of the 1970s and 1980s to sound economic performance during his service as the permanent secretary or secretary to the Treasury in the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development. May his soul rest in eternal peace.
Indeed, may soul rest internally, peacefully. Now moving on, the Ministry of Finance has called for a comprehensive national budget review for better allocation of funds. They said the help is to be allocating the finances to prioritize where there will be decreed budgeted supplements that have also distorted the already planned activities. Now, in Uganda, supplementary budgets have become larger more frequent. Now, the addition of funds cannot always be justified, but multiple agencies seeking a share and evidence of doubting up across sectors will be very well welcomed.
In Uganda, supplementary budgets have become larger and more frequent. The addition of funds cannot always be justified, with multiple agencies seeking a share and evidence of doubling up across sectors. Officials from the Ministry of Finance are suggesting that the supplementary budgets have to be minimized, though they are constitutional, as well as calling for serious budget review for better allocation of funds to priorities.
Supplementaries are a problem. Supplementaries are a problem because they distort the planned activities, particularly in a situation like ours where supplementals are not financed by additional revenue, but they are funded by suppressing the activities of ministries in order to finance the supplementals. So that's why we are saying that we as a ministry, we are trying to see how we can minimize supplementaries. There are, of course, supplementaries are in the Constitution as a way of financing unforeseen or unforeseeable expenditures. So for us to be able to manage that, they must be in a certain level, not more than 3% of the previous budget.
The supplementary budgets may also evidence the improper allocation and apparent misuse of public resources. In Uganda, security seems to have been prioritized over health, for example.
I'm not seeing clear safeguards on how this is going to stop. And I can tell you an example. If Uganda Bureau of Statistics, this is an example, has not budgeted for a household survey or a census, and in the middle of the financial year, they come to Parliament and say, we want to conduct a census, they will cause a stampede in Parliament to get that money. If Uganda National Examination Board has not budgeted for marking of exams, and it budgets for other things, and in the middle of the financial year, they say, oh, sorry, we forgot to budget for exams, we now need money. Nobody will refuse to give them money for marking exams. But why does it happen like that? Is because I think our system of understanding the core mandate of an MDA to ensure that it takes the first call on the budget is still missing.
In the Republic of Uganda, Article 156 of the Constitution and Section 25 of the Public Finance Management Act allow supplementary budget estimates to be put before Parliament. Here, it is determined whether or not a need has arisen for expenditure not previously budgeted for, or for expenditure that exceeds the budgeted sums. Stakeholders think that better planning and budgeting can help this country to avoid supplementary budgets that frequents the Parliament of Uganda.
One, of course, is better planning and better budgeting, because we are aware that what ministries do is they don't put money on the priorities. So that when implementation starts and they raise a supplementary for those priorities, then government is forced to look for that money. So better planning and better budgeting will help. But also, what we're also doing is we need to do more review, better review of the budget, so that we ensure that the ministries are actually financing the priorities and not putting money in other areas which are less of a priority in nature. Of course, the other issue is we need to raise more revenue, so that is it's a long-term, medium-term.
In March 2020 alone, the government of Uganda presented 4 supplementary budgets before Parliament. Their frequency and size have not gone unnoticed. Members of Parliament have noted that the situation determines the planning and budgeting process. There have also been allegations that sectors seeking supplementary budgets do so to avoid extensive scrutiny that the annual budget receives.
Very well, and moving forward, CSOs have called on government to consider it if it's to cater for increasing cities and municipalities. Now, the civil society organizations have called on to consider the local government financing if it's to cater for increasing cities, municipalities as well as districts in the country. The budgets of the local governments in Uganda are funded through the central government grants, local revenue collection and, in some cases, borrowing or donations from the development partners, either directly the local government or indirectly through the sectors. The alarm was made during the CSO's pre-budget dialogue under the theme, "Will the budget framework financial year 2022-2023 address economic recovery and safeguarding livelihoods?"
According to Julius Mukunda, the executive director at the Civil Society Budget Advocacy Group, CSBAG, the government should prioritize local government financing, for it has created more cities, municipalities and districts.
Is that if they are at the forefront of service delivery, then we should see more fiscal decentralization, more money going to them. That if you have a project here at the center in Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Health, and we're supposed to implement it at the local government level, then money should go to these districts so they can be able to implement and run these particular activities, not money to be spent at the headquarters. Partly that can improve the way we are financing local governments.
He raised concern over the reduction in local government financing from 4.5 trillion in financial year 2021-22 to 4.2 trillion in financial year 2022-23, despite an increase in the local government units, that's 10 cities, 135 districts, 41 municipalities, and the recruitment of parish chiefs as well.
In my village, they gave me a town council. We didn't even ask for it. In my village. And one of the things I was looking around was, we are supposed to recruit around 56 personnel, employees, because that is the government establishment. You can't change it. If you have a town clerk, then there is an assistant town clerk, then there is an accountant, assistant accountant, the treasurer, then the internal auditor, then the list goes on. And we must